How Albanese's Quad plans at G7 involve partnering with the US, Japan, and India on various initiatives such as infrastructure, climate, health, and technology for the benefit of the region. The Quad is a strategic partnership between Australia, the US, Japan, and India. It aims to promote a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. The Quad leaders met on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan, on Saturday. This was their second meeting since Anthony Albanese became Australia's Prime Minister in May 2022. One of the main topics of discussion was how to cooperate on various initiatives that would benefit the region. These include infrastructure, climate, health, and technology. Albanese said that the Quad was standing together for a region where sovereignty is respected and all countries benefit from a regional balance that keeps the peace. Some of the specific initiatives that the Quad agreed to pursue are a climate, critical minerals, and clean energy transformation compact. This is a deal that Australia and the US signed on the sidelines of the G7 summit. It promises to strengthen cooperation across the Pacific in tackling climate change. It also aims to diversify and secure supply chains for critical minerals and clean energy technologies. A vaccine partnership. This is a joint effort to provide at least 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines to countries in need by the end of 2023. The Quad will also work together to enhance vaccine production and distribution capacity in the region. A digital connectivity initiative. This is a plan to support digital infrastructure development and innovation in the Indo-Pacific. The Quad will collaborate on areas such as 5G, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity. A resilient infrastructure initiative. This is a project to promote quality infrastructure investment and development in the region. The Quad will coordinate with other partners such as ASEAN, the Pacific Island Forum, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association to support sustainable and transparent infrastructure projects. These initiatives reflect Albanese's vision of a Quad that is not only a security alliance, but also a positive force for regional cooperation and development. They also demonstrate how Albanese's Quad plans at G7 involve partnering with the US, Japan, and India on various initiatives that would benefit the region. How Albanese's Quad plans at G7 reflect his one-year anniversary of winning government and fulfilling his promises to the Australian people on foreign policy and regional leadership 1 year ago today. Anthony Albanese became the Prime Minister of Australia after a historic election victory over Scott Morrison. He promised to lead a government with a sense of purpose and to fulfill his commitments to the Australian people. One of those commitments was to strengthen Australia's role in the Indo-Pacific region and to work with like-minded partners to uphold a rules-based order and promote peace and prosperity. That's why Albanese's Quad plans at the G7 summit in Japan are so important. The Quad is an informal grouping of 4 democracies: Australia, India, Japan, and the United States. It was revived in 2017 as a response to China's growing assertiveness and influence in the region. The Quad leaders have met twice before, once virtually in March 2021 and once in person in Washington, D.C. in September 2021. They have agreed on a range of issues, such as combating COVID-19, addressing climate change, enhancing maritime security, promoting infrastructure development, and advancing democratic values. This week, Albanese attended the G7 summit in Hiroshima as a guest of Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. He also met with U.S. President Joe Biden, who apologized for canceling his trip to Sydney next week for the third Quad meeting due to a domestic crisis over the debt ceiling. The two leaders signed a deal on clean energy and climate action, reaffirming their commitment to achieving net zero emissions by 2050 and accelerating the transition to renewable sources. The third Quad meeting was held on the sidelines of the G7 summit on Saturday, with all 4 leaders present. Albanese said he was delighted to be among close friends again and to continue their important work. He said the Quad stood together for an open, stable, secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, where sovereignty is respected and all countries benefit from a regional balance that keeps the peace. He also said respect for the leadership of regional institutions such as ASEAN, the Pacific Island Forum, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association was central to their approach. The Quad leaders issued a joint statement after their meeting, outlining their shared vision and priorities for the region. They expressed their support for a free and open Indo-Pacific that is inclusive, healthy, anchored by democratic values, and unconstrained by coercion. They also announced several initiatives, such as expanding vaccine production and distribution, launching a Quad climate working group, establishing a Quad infrastructure partnership, enhancing cyber cooperation, and holding regular dialogues on emerging technologies. Albanese's Quad plans at G7 reflect his one-year anniversary of winning government and fulfilling his promises to the Australian people on foreign policy and regional leadership. He has shown that he is a reliable and constructive partner in the Indo-Pacific who can work with other democracies to address common challenges and opportunities. He has also demonstrated that he is committed to advancing Australia's national interests and values in a changing world.